This is the podcast on non-Mendalian genetics or complex patterns of inheritance. And these are patterns that Mendel never saw. There's two scenarios that don't typically go by the rules here. And so the first one we want to talk about is incomplete dominance. And if you look at the definition here, I want you to highlight the word blending. Okay, because really this is the situation where there's no dominant or recessive alleles. There's incomplete dominance. And instead you get a blend of traits. Now typically you'd have tall and short, or black and brown, or round or wrinkled, or traits similar to that. But in this scenario, you get a third version of the trait. This is like mixing paint. I want you to highlight the word blend and just think of that you're blending paint. Because if you mix, for instance, if you mix a red and white paint, you get, of course, pink, right? And so the same scenario kind of applies here. When you mix the traits, you're going to get a third color. It's incomplete dominance. So we often see this in flowers, snapdragon flowers. And in snapdragon flowers, we have a red gene, and that's going to be big R, big R. We have a white allele, and that's going to be WW. And the funny thing is, when you mix them together, when a plant gets one of each, you're going to get a pink individual, okay, the heterozygous version. So let's do our example here, and we look at across a red snapdragon with a white snapdragon. So the red snapdragon is, of course, big R, big R. And each parent is going to donate one letter only. And we have a white snapdragon, which we'll put on the side, WW. And of course, if this parent donates each letter, you're going to get an RW. Same thing here, RW. Each box represents one letter from each parent. So what we get is just like example I showed above, when you mix a red and a white flower, you get all pink, just like in paint. So we look at the ratios here, and the ratios in this scenario are always going to be the same. Okay, the genotypes means the letters, and the phenotypes means what the physical look. What do you look like? What do you have? So if we have the genotypic ratio, the letter combinations here, it looks like all of them are RW. So that would be 4 to 0 ratio, or you could say 100% RW. Either way, you would be correct. And again, the phenotypic ratios are exactly the same. They are the same because an RW gives you all pink flowers. So you would have 4 to 0 or 100% pink. Okay. So this is an example of incomplete dominance. Just one scenario that Mendel never solved. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And you'll get lots of practice doing this. I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to scroll on down because there's another scenario that takes place, and this is codominance. This is very similar, a very similar example. And in codominance, we have both alleles are dominant. And so you're going to get both alleles at the same time. And so what this is, just think Play-Doh. Okay? So if I have red Play-Doh and I have green Play-Doh and I mix it all together, I'm not going to get a third color. I'm just going to have one big ball of red and green Play-Doh. So this is just a mixture of both. You're not going to get a third color. Again, we get a both. So let's say chickens. Right? Chickens is a good example of this. Let's say we have a black chicken, and that's going to be BB. And we have white chickens, and that's going to be WW. Of course, we're talking about the feathers. That third one, okay, when you mix the black and the white allele, you're going to get one with both black and white feathers. We often see this in animals with different colors. Okay, so our practice problem here, across a black chicken, so a black chicken is BB, and a white chicken, whoops, I'm going to erase that, that's not a B there, that should be a W, and of course we get all BWs, BW, and again the ratios are going to be the same. So the genotypic ratio, we're looking at the letter combinations, and so all of them, 4 of them are BW, 0 everything else, or you could say 100% heterozygous or 100% BWs. And the phenotypic ratios are going to be exactly the same. They're all going to be 4 to 0 or 100% black white chickens. So this isn't saying that you're going to get 4 black and white chickens. It's just saying if these two individuals right here, this black chicken and this white chicken, decide to have offspring, and if they do, then all of them should be black and white. So if they, let's say, they have 100 chickens, then all of them should be black and white. If there's not, then there might be some issues there with the cross. Okay, so think of it in terms of that. We're just using the Punnett square to predict. Okay, and if you're in the chicken business, and let's say black and white chickens are the most favorable trait to have if you're a chicken farmer, because I don't know, maybe they lay the most eggs, or the eggs taste better if you're going to raise them for eggs. But let's just say you want black and white chickens, you would really want to have a black chicken and a white chicken mate to produce eggs. That is the way that you're going to really get the most black and white chickens to have these two parents. So 2 scenarios here. I'm going to erase this one more time. 2 scenarios. We have codominance, right, which is like Play-Doh, and we have incomplete dominance, which is like paint. So please do the practice problems and see Mr. Matthews with any questions.